Hello, YouTubers. This is another session where we continue to develop OData Neo, a modernized new framework that allows software engineers to really rewrite any component in OData and develop their own configurations. But also, more importantly, it tries to embody ideas like technology agnostic, protocol agnostic, transcendence in terms of branching out, and also modularization in terms of being able to add new clauses in your OData query and such. And with that, I think the last time we spoke, we had a, let me share my screen here. We had a failing test in here, and the failing test basically was about, let's see, we had a value that was expected to be a number, but it turned out to be a word. Let's take a look at that real quick here. There it is. So test number 23, we had a, hey Joe, uh,
Howdy.
let's see here. So we had a failing test here. I'm just kind of looking at what, where we stopped. Okay, type number value is infinity. Value equal infinity? How did we get a value that equals infinity? That's funny. Let me see, is this, oh, we just found a flaky test. So this max number in here, let's see, sequence generated Boolean, get random number. One of these has to be somehow limited, otherwise it would spit out infinity. How do you spit out infinity? That's weird, right? So, one of these numbers needs a little bit of limitation in terms of, let's see here. If I
Either
can go
float
here
or
and
double will be able to do that.
the double can produce a, let's see, min value double dot.
I think you can
Uh,
just type float and then dot. It's got a constant for infinity. One of those does.
really? Oh, I see. In
Yeah. It's
positive
probably float.
infinity. Yikes. So what I want to do, so to prevent that from happening, let me see first if I can. So if I say max value is double dot max, let's just see. So there's this guy, and then if I say here, if I run my tester, I want to see where this is coming from. Let me, double the resolution on my screen here. So, there it is. So the max value on double comes back as infinity. That's really weird. I know why though, because um, we're trying to map them all to an integer. So let me just increase the display here, and I'll tell you.
I mean, can you put infinity into a URL?
Ooh, that's even a more interesting question.
I mean, it's
Can
a
you?
constant. Can you parse something into infinity?
That's a great question. I'll tell you something though, like the literal or string representation of infinity here is actually infinity. Do you see it? Where is it? No, it was this. The last time I ran it, it actually, draw an infinity sign in here, which is crazy, right? I bet
Yeah.
it's I bet it's one of these other let's see. It's one of these other values in here. Let's see. So max value, come on, come on. Okay, so max value, what do we have here? Float dot max. And I'm gonna try, I know that max value in int is fine. I just want to see, let me try this again. I really want to show you, I never seen this before actually. I never seen it saying this is infinity. I didn't know that there is a string representation of it. How crazy is that? Like instead of the value here, it was showing infinity at some point in time. Okay, so the reason why this is breaking though is because we take these values and we try to map them to an integer. So if you go here, we go and say, hey, where is it? For numbers, there it is. We try to parse them as integers all the time. I think a better way is to map them to the biggest value that a biggest numeric value that we can represent. I bet you this one will pass. No, it didn't. What's bigger than a decimal? I didn't think there was anything bigger than a decimal other than big int, which is like a customized
I
type.
mean, it's just a different representation of how it's stored in memory.
Oh, it's definitely double. Look. Yeah, double for sure. So double can include all the possible numbers that can come in since we're generating against a decimal and a float and all these kind of different values. So I think that's okay. I think we have a solution for that. So let me push that as a let me go back here to the
I think
tokenization.
double would be better suited for going across a boundary too. Float isn't a very good one, just because
Yeah,
if you serialize float and then deserialize it, you might get like 0.00003 different or something. Like it just doesn't
right.
handle that very well.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so this is fixed. This guy here is okay. Let me go and just put a commit here and say um, minor fix flaky test with numbers. Okay, so last time we were talking about this, we were basically saying, hey, we have we have these tokens individually, they are parsable. Now here comes the interesting part where we want to kind of generate a bunch of random tokens next to each other and basically expect um, a uh, a value to come from the other side, based on that particular, token type. So what I'm thinking here is that just the exact same way we created those, we can create a bunch of tokens like these tokens in here. We can create a bunch of tokens like these and go and say, here's what I expect the um, the sequence to look like. So we're gonna generate a random O token and we're gonna bring the query out of it, and then we're gonna give the query to the function and let the function generate an O token that matches, like going the opposite direction of a particular test. So let's see here. So we have these tokens in here, these operand tokens, all in theory data, and we're passing these guys down in here, which is okay. And we basically went and said, okay, this is my expected token, this is my possible token, and here's the query that's coming in. Okay, this is perfect. Now we need a new kind of test. And this new test is different. It's gonna go and look at all these theory data things that we created, and it's gonna try to create a random query out of it by just literally just like give me that list of queries and let me select the raw query one next to the other and just go out there and send it to the method. So let's say should tokenize a sequence of tokens. So a query.
Detokenize.
Yeah, should. Well, not well, it will be tokenizing, right? But we're sending to it. Okay, let's see. Should tokenize multi token query.
Oh, okay, I got you. I thought we were going the opposite direction.
We are, but the test itself is talking about what this tokenize function is going to do, not what the
Yeah,
test is doing. Yeah,
you have a spelling issue in your function name.
to
Tokenize.
tokenize. All right, perfect. So okay, so let's see here. So what I want basically, I want a an array of random O tokens. We'll come to that guy in a second. And then what I want is input query. And this input query would be random tokens dot select. Come on, select. And from every token, I'm gonna go and say, um, here's your token dot query or value. So now I have an array of or a list of the raw values. Now all I need to do is just lump them up together, which is uh,
Union.
the well, union will still produce an
Oh, that's
array.
a collection, yeah.
So there's this thing called I think it's array join, something like that. Let's see. I
String
think
join.
there's no array join. Okay. Where's my let's see. So if I go to C Sharp Interactive here,
I think string join, right?
is it string join? Oh, it's string join. No, you're
Yeah,
right.
because yeah,
Yep. Yep. So let's see. So this is let's see. So string all token values,
that's good.
right? And then we can go here and say, okay, what are you returning? An IEnumerable? Of course you are. Okay.
Yeah.
IEnumerable of a string.
Yeah. Var.
Yeah, Visual Studio can't keep up with my crazy.
Yeah.
IEnumerable, like it literally is lagging. I don't know if you're seeing it, but
No,
it's
I am.
basically saying, dude, chill out. It's string. Okay, so all tokens, and then there's this guy, and then let's see, the non-generic type. I never gonna. Okay, how about a list?
Just put var there for now. We
Well,
can put the concrete type later.
okay. Let's see. So if I put that guy like this, and then we can go here and say, okay, input query would be string dot join dot join, and then what do you have? So you pass basically expecting you to pass an array, right? So this guy will take a separator, no separator between them. So that
Correct.
will stay like this. I wish it had an overload where you could just go and say, you know, Uh, see, it doesn't even like it because the
Just put null in.
let's put it null and C separator. And what's this guy? Values? Sure. Let's do that. Okay. So you have these guys. Now you can basically go and say these random tokens are actually my expected tokens because that's where we're gonna go back to eventually. And this input query is gonna go in here. And then expected, yeah, there you go. So now, yeah, this is it. So now we can basically go and say, okay, so I have these expected tokens. The only thing that I want is basically a function that gives me a bunch of random tokens, however, and that would be easy. We can do that real quick. I can go here and say, give me all these theory data stuff that we have. So here is a private static token array, O token array, create random O tokens. And this guy, let's see. So I want to mush all of these together. So list, a theory data is basically just a list. Or most
An
most likely
array.
a dictionary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. So O token and then all O token. And then if I go and say operand tokens dot, does this guy have two lists? Or also can it do, um, I wonder if it can do, what's it called? Append.
Yeah,
Ah,
I think theory data exposes IEnumerable.
it does, right?
Yeah.
So if I do control, oh, nice. I
Yeah,
love
I was
that.
actually just thinking about this. If you were to combine this with yields, you can have a couple concrete tests and then jump right into random tests. So you could have three explicit, like this string matches this exact set of tokens, and then they'll go through three of those and then go through 10 randomized ones. And what that does is you get your green right off the bat because you know exactly what your constants are for your first
Mm.
few tests. And then you jump into the random ones, and then everything should still be green. And if not, you can pick out your failing ones later on.
Oh, so you want to start with a step where we actually predefine the
Yeah,
tokens.
we physically in our heads can say this should be a known green thing,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
and then you jump into the random because then why not? Because you
I'm
already
okay with
know the
that.
other one's gonna pass.
I'm okay with that. Let's do
Yeah.
that. Let's go here. Let's take a couple of these. Let's
Yeah,
throw
you can
them.
either union or not union. You can either expose them through the collection here or do yield return or something like that too.
Okay. So this is an up ramp. I'll just pick up a bunch just to see if our code actually works. So, okay, that's actually a great idea. I'm okay with that. So
Okay.
let's go here like this, and then I can go to complex tokens. All right, so what we want to do now, I'm just going to return them all for now
Yeah.
because that's how you want to. Okay, let's do that. So let me kind of get the literal and random number in here. Here we go. And I'm gonna go back here and say, okay, just return these guys.
It's enough. All right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, all right, all right, all right. Where's my test? There it is. Okay, so let's go back here. All right, let me just see what that looks like just to double check and make sure. I like this idea. I'm okay with that. Let's do that.
Yeah. In the evolution of TDD, you would start off with your things that you know should be good, your constant tests, and then you can add the random ones afterwards, knowing that your other one should still pass once you get to the random spot.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Sounds good. Okay, so value cannot be null. Oh yeah, because I never called the function. Haha. Okay, great. It's kind of important, Joe, to kind of call the function. You know what I mean? All right, let's try that again.
TDD at its best.
Yeah, this is literally. Let's see. All right, so this is all token values, and we know what these are. I just want to see the input query. Oh, look at that. So it basically put in a bunch of like, look at this query. So you have the,
Let me bigger size this. What's up, Sam?
what up, Sam? You bailed on us. What's up with that? Sam is a manager now. He shows up halfway during the meeting. You know, be like, hey guys, all good, okay, keep it on. I want to buy this new house. I want to get this new bonus. So just keep working. I'll see you again. Never.
If you look
Sam.
closely, he's got a whip on his hip, so he can just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Hi,
Wow.
Sam. Your
Hi.
your internet is actually working today. What a surprise.
Yeah. I pay more money to the Xfinity.
That's it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So, so, so look at what this. Oh, that's
I'm a
actually.
little bit late. I
I'm
took
gonna I'm gonna regenerate because it kind of generated an inappropriate word. So I'm gonna regenerate the and now that I said it, people are gonna go back in the video and they're gonna say, what was it? What was the inappropriate word?
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
got to work on you being more subtle.
yeah, we're gonna need to be a little bit more subtle with I promise you guys this is all randomly generated. We didn't write these things. That's the beauty of this is that we don't have to. Okay, so let's go back here. What the heck? Why is it? Okay, never mind. Okay, so we have dollar sign and it did some stuff. Great. And then there's this EPG minus whatever. So it's basically generating a bunch of random tokens. And I'm assuming this
Oh,
would be
it's equal and greater than or equal to, because those were the
yeah.
first
Oh, I
tokens we
see.
put in there. So we
Yeah.
should probably add a couple spaces.
Yeah, that's okay. We could do that. I mean, it won't matter anyway at the end of the day
No.
because of the randomization. But let's do that. Why not? Let's go
Well,
here.
technically, GE and an EQ next to each other is different than the token GE and the token EQ.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
So to
true.
have it come out properly, you do need the space.
Okay, so let's do that, which is very interesting. This is where it gets serious. This is the last piece in our kind of tokenization service. There's nothing beyond that point other than just going and saying, hey, uh, what did he call it? Operand? I think. No, I don't think. I think he called it a equals. So this is equals, and this is just equals in here. And then EQ, operand, white space, maybe throw a random literal in here. Let's see. He had a thing, also Paul had a thing in here called word. Let's see, where's that word at? There it is. So this is random literal. So I'm gonna put that guy in here. And then I'm gonna go and say equal space and then put a random number in here and just take all that out. This is
That's a
somewhat,
good one, yeah.
yeah, somewhat just going there, but it's going to get very interesting because the intelligence that we're going to need to build in here, this is the last step in the tokenization service, and we're done. The intelligence that we're going to need to build in here, somehow it needs to understand that EG, sorry, GTEQ mushed up together are not two tokens. They're very
It's
different.
one.
It's one. It's just a word. So this query now looks like this. It looks like, oh, where's my query? By the way, just my Visual Studio is freaking out because I'm using the preview and I'm moving way too fast. Way too fast. So it's like, listen, man, it's humbling you. You know what I mean? See what it's doing? I forgot a space between before the, okay, let me go back here.
What's the beaker at the bottom doing?
This guy here?
Yeah.
Oh, who knows, man? It means that something is running. The test is running. I don't know,
Oh,
Loading.
that's the first time I've ever seen that icon.
yeah, and I want this, actually, well, it's the preview, right? So it's not really, doing much. So anyway, this is, I need a space in here.
Are you on the enterprise version?
Yeah,
Oh, it might be they have like live testing, so as you change a code, it continually runs a test.
yeah, but that
That could
has
be
been there
that.
forever. That has been there before. Oh, you mean hot reload while you were writing the test? Oh, that would be cool.
No, continuous testing.
Okay, right.
Maybe not, I don't know.
Okay. So our query now looks like, okay, equal blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. All right. Hey, Sam, do you want, who didn't write last time? Joe, Joe, you're the one.
Yeah, I was out for a
Congratulations.
couple of weeks, and
You
now
get,
that Paul's out, I guess I'm the one to.
Paul got the COVID. I hope he gets better soon. I like
Yeah.
Paul. Here it is. Here it is. Do you see this? Infinity.
Can you parse that? Can you copy that right now and try and do double dot parse?
You
See what
you
happens.
bet you bet your sweet hits it, I will.
Oh, another thing I noticed about this particular interactive, if you go up to the debug
Mm-hmm.
menu item, you can actually link this interactive to your current source code.
You gotta be kidding me. Are you
No, it's
serious?
in no, it's not going to be under view. I think it's
Tools?
under debug.
Debug? Are you serious? Dude, I didn't know that. Is it in
Yeah,
the options?
no, it's a menu item. It just says use this current one.
No
Um,
way. No way. Other debug targets.
no, I'll Google it real quick
Oh,
while you
yeah,
type.
while you're doing that. Okay, so parse and then infinity. What the heck? Do we actually? No way, dude. Dude, it is actually a numerical value. What? You gotta be kidding me. I didn't know about that. I didn't know you could represent infinity this way.
Yeah, it's same as past IMF, right?
Yeah, but okay, Sam, the
Since
question
you
to you
can
is,
parse it, it can come over in a URL.
Mm.
So that means, yeah, that was Joe's question from earlier. This is going on social media immediately. This has to happen.
How do you even get that character? You got to
I
know the code.
oh, you mean like how do you type that character in
Yeah.
your, yeah, bro, I didn't, you're gonna
Oh.
have to Google it.
What would we do without Google? Oh, I found an awesome little meme that someone posted about a bunch of coffee cups, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, what lawyers do, and it says they go or what lawyers Google, and then it finally got to developers, and then the developers just Google to get Google results, and then the meme was they're onto us. I'll have to find. I'll send it in the Discord chat. It was pretty hilarious.
That's crazy. That's crazy business. Anyway, so apparently, so Sam, we might probably need to support infinity in a query. And I think if we define, like right now, the good news is we don't even have to worry about that, right? Because the good news here is that the tests that we have in place
Mm.
will say this is a number. Like the code, the parsing that we have in place will say this is okay, this is a number. So I think that's a possibility. What do you think about that, Sam?
So I miss your previous sentence.
So think about this. Your query can be compute like
Mm.
this. Let me type this. I don't know why it's not letting me type, but one sec. What? Visual Studio died. Isn't that
All right.
great?
I found out how to do the C sharp interactive thing.
Oh, for real? Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me just open OData Neo because C Sharp is like, I'm out of here, man. Stay away from me. Let's see. All right, here's Visual Studio again. Okay, and let's see. Just a second, guys. Okay, so here's Visual Studio. So Sam, so the good news is that we can actually support an infinity. So if I put infinity as a number, it will tokenize it as a number. So we're good here. No problem there.
Mm.
So let me send that off to Joe. And I think Joe was right about kind of taking it slow with that randomization here because there's so many different permutations. There's so many different permutations that we need to account for when we're tokenizing. It's not like a one size fit all. So anyway, let me just run this test one more time and then give it back to Joe. And Joe's gonna have a little bit of fun. He's gonna have a serious task. This was supposed to land on Paul though. Except that he got sick, so I hope he gets better soon. But Paul was supposed to be the one getting that kind of heat. Let's see.
Sick.
Yes, sick. Paul is sick today. All right, Joe, you're it. Ain't nothing but a thing, one sky man. Let's put some code on the white fire grab people call the internet. Let's make it happen. Okay.
All right.
Sam,
Loading my Visual Studio because for some reason it forgets it's recent. So I gotta go open
no worries, my brother.
OData Neo and share my screen once it's done loading.
All right.
How did Paul get COVID?
How did he get COVID?
Since he is CT.
He he exposed himself to a lot of JavaScript.
Trying to,
JavaScript will, yeah,
yeah.
JavaScript will do that to you.
All right. So share.
right. Here is Joe. Joe,
I gotta figure out my keyboard bindings on here. Control scroll doesn't work yet.
also increase your res.
I'm 1024. Let me just go up a little more. Or not. Yeah, here we go. Grab latest.
All right.
So here's your failing test. Let me make sure it fails.
So this is your typical interview question, I swear to God, because this is your typical, hey, you have an array and you need to come up with an algorithm that basically parses that string array or string and extract tokens out of it. How, like, the most dangerous thing about this is that you could aggressively tokenize something that is not done yet. Like imagine a word, like you're going and saying where name equals, and assume someone's name called the equalizer, right? You're gonna consider the first EQ as a token. So that means you have to go and check and see whether the next letter is a space or not. So you can consider this as an individual token or not, or a separator token of any kind. So this is
Well,
gonna be fun.
I
Uh-huh.
think as you process the token, you need to know what you just did, because the next character will be the one that tells you whether you're done
It's the end.
with the,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So let me go over to logic.
This is literally a leak code problem right here, except that it's actually useful. It's something that people actually use and benefit from.
So we take the query in and we literally just switch on it. Whoa. Yeah, my keyboard bindings are all jacked up.
Darn it. Yeah, it's probably better if you put all of this in like its own method and say tokenize, and then you want like process query or something like that.
That's already there.
Oh, Joe, you could extract a method by just selecting a bunch of code, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I just getting the groundwork here done.
sounds good, brother. You got it.
I don't want to actually do anything with this stuff yet. So we now have to actually start iterating over the whole string rather than just matching on it.
Mm.
Okay.
Right, that's not what I want. That's not what I want either. I'll just keep it a no token array. You know what? I'm just repeating the wheel here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's fun. Undo, undo, undo. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we'll just leave that there for now.
Okay.
Mm.
So the raw query, Joe, the obvious solution here is to break the query into characters. Yeah, there you are. And Um, it's mad at you because you're using a
Oh, I
do an
can't do that.
do an at behind it. Let me show you a trick. Do at.
Yeah, yeah, you can use reserved words if you do that.
Right. How
Okay.
cool is
Well,
that?
we can change that later if we want.
Sure.
So for each of these, we want to.
Oh my God, Sam's internet. Sam, your internet is cutting out again.
Really?
What the heck, Sam?
I think they haven't received my money.
They took your money and Okay, I can hear you now. What were you saying?
I mean, if we
Hmm.
iterate each character in the string, it could
Hmm.
be a big task,
It could be a hard task,
to
a bigger
pass.
task. Yeah. Yeah. What do you recommend? What do you reckon?
For example, you want to combine the E and Q together.
Mm-hmm.
Let me mute them.
So you want to combine the E and Q, but you don't know what's coming in your string. Like you're
Yeah.
starting from the top, and you're going and saying, okay, give me give me the character. Okay, what's the next character? If the next character is a separator token, then you let it go. If the next character is not a separator token, and a separator token could be multiple characters, but normally they're not. It's either an equal sign or a space or a comma.
So it's a lecture work,
It's Elixir work. Yes. Yes.
and it's a big task.
It's a big task. Yes,
It's
this
not
is.
it's
Mhm.
not a good question to do the interview. It because the lecture is hundreds of codes. We cannot finish it within a session.
It depends on how cocky the interviewer is. If they come in and be like, "I'm the king of the world," give him Elixir question. It's humble that guy. It's bring him down to earth a little bit. Yeah. Mhm.
Um,
Joe's gonna try for a little bit. Just let the brother try, and then we'll see. Mhm.
so John, you want to iterate the character in the string one by one?
Yeah, that's what he's doing. So he picked up this raw query, and
Yeah.
he's iterating. He's on mute because of his dogs. So I'll speak for him for a little bit.
Yeah, I'll unmute for a moment so you can
No
hear them.
worries.
They're just fighting in the background.
No worries. Wow, they're going crazy.
I do think they want to code.
They don't want to write code. They don't like our algorithm.
Oh no, I mean the dogs want to try.
Look how big this dog is.
Oh,
My God. It's bigger than Joe.
Yeah, they're just excited and playing. So
Yeah, yeah,
maybe he want to play the Visual Studio.
yeah. We should give him some code. All right. All right. By the way, someone online just tried to do it in JavaScript with this infinity sign, and JavaScript said nan, not a number. Here is a little superiority for C sharp over JavaScript, you know. Oh man, I love the internet. The internet is problematic.
Yeah, this is more annoying than I want it to be. So basically, let's just start off with if it is a if
Hmm,
it's not a white space, then it's going to be some form of character. So let's do that first,
right.
rather than this.
Will you be needing to build a, yeah, you already have the string builder already. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I have my mind on like three different sections of this, and I'm just trying to connect them right now.
Okay, take your time. I'm here.
If it's not a white space character, then it's going to be a or one or something like that.
Do you wanna talk about the algorithm first before we write the
Yeah, let's
code?
do that.
So here's what I'm thinking, Joe, and I'll take your screen for a second, and then we'll, let's just talk about how we're gonna solve this because this is not as straightforward as it seems. Like Sam said, this is Elixir. That's brutal to be an interview question. So assume that you have like, something like select equal, name. That's the simplest thing in the world that I can think of right now, right? So if you're iterating, you're going and saying, well, for each character here, for each character in the query, you're going and saying, I want to do some stuff. Well, for starters, you can say current token, and this guy is null. We don't know what it is yet, right? And now for every, actually, you can go like this, right? That's my current token, and you nullify that every time. But you can basically go and say, well, this is my character in the query. And if the character is not a separator, if it's not a separator token, then it's something else. This is why I categorized those earlier and I said, okay, what does this mean, right? So then the current token will plus equal the character, right? And you keep iterating like this until you hit a separator token. And that's where you go and say, okay, now I have my token in my hand. That's just one way I'm thinking about this. So let's just examine it. It will go through this guy, say, is this guy a separator token? No. Keep adding. Is this guy a separator token? No. Tit, 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 until it reaches up here, right? And then it will go and find that separator token. And then it will go and say, whoop, stop right there. That's a token, right? Now, the thing is, separator tokens, if we're serious about those, separator tokens are one characters, a space, or an and or an equal, right? Something like that. It's a separator token, right? And if we define those properly as separators, we can iterate through those and examine every character whether it is a separator token or not. And if it is a separator token, then go ahead and cut the string. You know what I mean? What do you think about that solution? Is that a good start? So that means, hey, here's a separator token, okay, and then let's go again. Tit, 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 tit. By the way, null, like meaning the end of the string, is also a separator token, right? So that means your token ends by the end of your string, and that's it. What do you think about that solution? Does that work?
Let's run with it and find out.
Right, there's something else for you though. I guess the dot is not a separator token, but we're gonna have to ask Sam about that in a little bit. Anyway, let's go. Here's your
It
screen.
probably depends on the context.
Yes, so it could be a decimal break, which means it's still a part of the token. It could be when Sam sometimes says student.id, or he's digging a little bit deeper into nested properties within the model, right? It's still not a separator token technically. It's still just one big piece of a token. So let's try it this way, man. Let's see how that works. Mhm.
Yeah, but this is the basic scenario. I mean, for example, Equal sign can be any character in the value. It's not a separate.
See, you're very smart. So some of these separator tokens will go and say, hey, if you have a separator token that's a single quote, don't separate yet until you hit the next separator token, which is you're very smart, Sam. You're very, very smart. I want you to know that.
That's
Joe, just do enough to make the test pass. You don't have to add them all. Just the ones that you need to make the test pass. Hmm. Oh, you
just remove. Just
yeah,
remove your char. Mm.
yeah, the constant like new instance of anything cannot possibly be a constant. You're on mute if you're talking to us.
Yeah, the dogs just stopped freaking
Okay.
out, so I
Okay.
can come off. Okay, I just did space and ampersand quickly because you spoke of it. So,
hmm hmm
um,
And you need equal and you need yeah, you just need equal in there and you should be good.
well, equal.
It's a
Yeah, I guess we
separator,
do.
right?
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
Put the equal.
yeah. Listen to Sam. Sounds like put the equal. Put it. Put it, Joe.
yeah.
In this case, you can just call log a string dot split using the separate character.
Well, it's already out of the box in this raw query that he's doing. You see this iteration that
Yeah.
he's doing? He's already doing that, Sam, like automatically. Sam's internet is really bad today. It keeps cutting out. But anyway, so what are you gonna
In
do?
this
It's
case,
up.
you can
Yeah.
change the char array to I set and use the I set to test the character test the character. Maybe it's easy.
I set? What's I set, Sam?
The hash
Oh, into a hash
set.
set. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're
Mm.
saying. I see what you're saying. We'll give it to you to refactor it in a second. You're gonna write
Mm.
some code. Do you want to write some code today, Sam? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm okay. I'm coding every day.
What a surprise. All right, Sam.
It's surprise, right?
People really loved the compute. The
Oh,
video hit the video
when
hit
did you
one.
do that?
I did it about 20. Do you remember when I said to you, "Hey Sam, I'm gonna go." It's about 20 days ago. 20 days ago. Or I think a little bit maybe 14. A couple of weeks.
Oh.
If you run the video, you'll see the date at the bottom
Where's
right.
the original author?
I didn't hear a word. Your internet is garbage. I want you to know that.
Where is the original author Sam?
Oh, the original, you mean
Author.
Jeremy?
author.
Oh, the original author, Sam? Sam Shoot?
Yeah.
I made sure I told them about you. I told them,
Oh,
yeah. I told them,
where's my?
I told them Sam Shoot on the identity team developed this new amazing feature.
It's a
Do,
joke.
do you want to go sometime on this show and show people? But you're gonna have to speak to them, at the simplest terms because you're a very smart guy, Sam. You dig a little bit deeper into details. You're gonna have to stay at a level. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Okay, Sam. We'll tell the .NET channel folks about you.
Thank you. It's great honor, great video
Of
session
course,
for
brother.
those.
Of course, Sam. This is your work. This is your genius. I'm just trying to tell the people how amazing and smart you are. That's all.
No, thank you.
Of course, brother. Okay, this should make the test pass. I think. Ah. So what's the problem? What came out from the other side? So it says expected actual tokens to be a collection of 7 items, but found. Ah, you put the whole thing in one place. See? I can't hear you, Joe.
There we go. My this logic's flawed then.
Why? You're saying if this is not a separator token,
Hmm.
right? Let's go through it one by one. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I
No
must have
way.
had a thought earlier. If it is a separator, no, that's
No,
wrong.
you were right. Just
Yeah.
type, yeah, just type not. Okay. So let's just follow it step by step, see what it's doing step by step and see how it goes. Let's go.
Yep.
Go into a breakpoint and let's see. Also, you're not really doing anything with this token. Like your code is not doing anything with the token. You're just
Oh yeah,
creating.
we're not. Yeah, we're just creating it. That's probably my problem. Let me actually use it.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Um,
I'm on the spot. I'm not thinking right.
What do you mean? We're just chilling out. We're just chatting. We're just
It is
chat.
what it is. We're finding the problems. All right, let me run this thing again.
I
Um,
love I love how he said, "Oh yeah, I probably should use that code that I just." Okay, Joe.
all right, so that failed. Let's go back over here. Same deal.
Hmm.
Hassan Paul want to join?
Oh, Paul wants to join?
Oh yay.
What? How did he come here?
Oh, here we go.
Don't
Hey
you
guys.
di- don't you have the JavaScript? Sorry, COVID.
I mean, both
Are you
viruses, right?
and also and also in all seriousness, are you okay, brother?
Yeah, I mean, you can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. Just feeling a little bit sort of worn down, and it's a standard sort of cold, flu-y thing. But
I didn't think you could possibly get sick. You freaking robot.
I have viruses like the rest of us, right? mine, mine are just
That's right.
normally, written in JavaScript.
So Paul, we're doing the serious stuff now. We're actually processing an actual query.
Oh
And
wow!
this should be the last step in our tokenization service, and I expect it to take a couple of sessions, but you know, what we're basically doing, remember how we talked about separator tokens and stuff like that? This is kind of the governing dynamic for basically determining where a token begins and where a token ends. But there are some separator tokens that are continuous. Like when you open a quote, you expect that quote to end at some point in time.
So I was reading something really interesting that came up in my feed the other day. I was going to
Yeah.
talk about it today because I knew we were going to move into this territory.
Yes. Tell me.
Obviously, no, I didn't expect you to start so early. You started at 4 p.m. my time. Normally, it's not until my working day ends. So,
So let me tell you what happened. They moved this daylight saving.
oh, is that what it is? So
Yeah.
we're
So
going to be
we
starting at 4 p.m. every day now
I'm gonna
until daylight shifts my end.
I'm gonna
Oh,
have to. Mhm.
yes. We are in the daylight saving.
Okay.
We're gonna have to move this around a little bit because I want everyone to be comfortable. But Joe, I think Joe does something after 12 on his time, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually. This is my lunch time, so
Yeah.
I'm working till the rest of the day.
Yeah, see? That's how I want to catch this guy. So it's just about which engineer we care about the most, Paul. I mean,
Time.
Of course.
It's my breakfast time.
you eat breakfast, Sam, you eat breakfast at 9? I eat breakfast at 6 a.m. Really, really early.
We've already
Really?
established that you're crazy though, Hassan. So.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a given. I I know we joke about this, but Paul, look at me. I am crazy.
Do not dispute that at all.
Do you know how many times people said to me, "We have a free psychiatric evaluation nurse on campus. Just go there."
So I forgot
So,
to use a bunch of code, so I'll fix
That's kind of important.
okay, well, we'll talk about the scheduling offline. I really wanted to get to the this article that I received in my feed this week, and
Tell
it was
me.
talking about array segments and
Mm-hmm.
taking portions of arrays. Now, if you think about what we've got, what we start off with, this raw query, is effectively a byte array. And I think the way that it needs to be parsed is that we take varying segments from that and we translate those segments into tokens. So if you can imagine, you've got like the current index that you're at, which is the first character in that character array that
Mm-hmm.
isn't already in a token. Okay.
Okay.
So you've got that index, and then you've got another index, which is the end of the segment that you're currently interested in. Now, initially, it's going to be the same point in the array. But when you find that you don't match that to something, you can then increase that second index. So then you've got two characters in that that sub segment, and then you can rerun the same logic. So my thinking was, instead of like declaring, for example, a string and then appending each character to it and then eventually taking that over,
You're gonna
we
try
could
to
do
kind of
something
look.
like, so what you're kind of doing is, think of it like a ruler where you've got all these lines on your ruler, and you're basically you've got two sliders, right? Imagine my fingers are sliders, and what you're doing is you're starting at one end of the ruler and you're saying, okay, I'm going to take this bit, now I'm going to take this bit, now I'm going to take this bit. But then sometimes you might have to go, actually, I want to take this bit or this bit. You're moving one pointer around to try and figure out where you need to be. And I think that's the kind of logic that we want in here. I could be wrong, but to my mind,
you're right.
It clicked, because I was looking at it and I was thinking, look, if you look at the nature of the tokens that we've got, right, it's either an exact character match to a specific character, or it's an exact character pair match in the case of something like an operand, or it's something like a word match where what you're taking
But Paul,
is
how do you as a human being read a query?
well,
You read it left to right and you try to make sense of it. How do our brains process a query?
But the human brain is a bit smarter than that. It doesn't just read left to right. It interprets the whole thing and applies pattern matching to it, sort of like a regular expression would.
Yeah.
So my thinking is that what you want is something like an ultra fast, perhaps simplified, regular expression type engine in this that can effectively really quickly scan segments of the string and pull out the meaningful information from it. That's what you're looking to achieve, really, isn't it?
Yes. It's elixir, like Sam was saying earlier. We need elixir.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
that can make sense of these tokens. And I'm so happy that you guys fought me on this tokenization service rather than going straight to ONode and building trees, because I can see the complexity now. It explains the interesting smile that Sam had on his face when we first said, "Oh, let's build the tree right now." But okay, but also Paul, I'm gonna have to also fight you on something. I want the code to be simple.
I will cough you to death.
It needs to handle the infinity symbol.
Oh, by the way, Paul, did you see the infinity symbol?
The infinity symbol, is that part of the spec?
Yeah, so the infinity symbol actually in C# is translated into a number.
Hasn't it been redeclared now? Isn't it called meta now? Sorry. Sorry. I thought if you threw enough money at something, you could just decide it was called something else. No.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm here all week, folks. I'm here.
Ridiculous.
We're gonna call it the meta symbol.
Yeah. Okay. So Well, you
So how
managed to
do
find?
how do we come up with this algorithm?
Is that valid in a URI? What's the valid token set in a URI? Because we should be able to basically, or not token set, character set. We should be able to build an entire character array, and as part of a pre-validation, we should be able to say, look, if any character in our query falls outside of that character set, just reject it straight outright. Don't even bother trying to tokenize.
Oh.
Just argue that it's not a valid query. I'm not validating, I'm not suggesting we do like full-blown validation or anything. I'm saying, hey, on face value, we have a string, right? And if the string is just presented to us as a character array, you can look at that and you can say, hey, if it's a Unicode character outside of the normal ASCII range that's expected by a URI, then straight outright, we can just go, nah, forget it.
Okay.
And that could literally just be a one-liner, right? Well, probably a little bit more than a one-liner.
All right, debugging.
You're all right, Joe. Do you need some help?
Well, we'll see. So basically, if it's not a separator character, we're basically building whatever the thing is into a string builder. If it is a separator character, we look at the string builder, we build our token, we get the token type, and we put the value in there. And then after that, I clear my running thing so that we can continue on. Where's my F10? Actually, let me just stop right here and say here, F5.
So what you mean? You are really getting into the guts of it now. You have
some we give you and Joe the hard stuff.
Yeah. They have been slightly nicer to me than you, though. It's my dashing good looks. All right, so we got BDAP equals a number. Okay. Oh, apparently that's not happy with me now.
Poor Joe. We gave him the tough one.
Well, that and none of my keyboard bindings work, so that's an extra level of stress for me. I'm just like, oh, what's my button for this?
So hold on, just let me tell you this. Let's give it one more go, and then just take some time to think about this. And Paul, please share that that idea or the article that you read in the Discord, because that's actually really interesting. I would like to hear more about that.
The article was talking about the various different ways to break arrays up. So the obvious way is, let's say I've got a new array, okay, and it's 10 elements long. I can declare a second array, and I can say, okay, take elements 2 to 5 and copy them into the second array at positions 0 to 4, right?
Right.
So that's one way to split or get a segment of an array. Okay. The second way is to use link, where I can say array dot skip to dot take 5, right? So that would effectively produce the same results. And then the third way that he was talking about was to use this new thing, apparently as part of the newer versions of .NET, called an array segment, which you can wrap around an existing array. It's its own type, effectively, that allows you to query the array in line and just pull portions of the array out. So from an allocations point of view, it's much reduced. So in theory, my thinking was the memory footprint on that and the performance should be a lot higher, because what we want to do is we want to look at that array and we only want to extract out of it at when certain logical conditions are met, but we always want to maintain a pointer to it. So my thinking was, rather than just taking array segment as the .NET class that it is and just using one of those, what we perhaps want is to treat the raw query as being a character array, and then have a custom implementation of array segment effectively that works a bit like a string reader of sorts, that gives you the partial segment that you want, essentially, within the logic. And then we can say, hey, for this segment, give me a match. And for the next segment, give me a match. And if they're the same match, then it's probably valid that the second one is the token that we're interested in. But hey, let's rerun that logic again. So for the second one and the third one, do we get the same match? And the reason why I say work it this way is because if you can imagine you've got, so Joe, go back up to your example query a sec. I don't really want to trash your flow or anything, but it's really easy to visualize when you've actually got a query in front of you.
Yeah, let me I just found out why we're failing is because I'm not doing anything with our separator characters. We need to make those into tokens as well.
Right.
Okay.
All right, okay.
So initially, if you imagine, right, so string raw query, imagine that's just a char array raw query instead. Okay. So if you look at the example that he's got in his comment here, it's $bidap equals bidap. Now, if I match dollar to a token, I'm not going to get anything back because of how we've designed it so far. If I match $B to a token, I'm going to get back, that's an OData parameter. If I match $BI to a token, it's going to say that's an OData parameter. But if I've already said $B is a parameter, then the next thing I'm going to get a match on for I is that it's a word. Okay. So what we want is some mechanism where we can say, hey, keep crawling until you get all the way to the equal sign, and then you're going to get a different result. And then you back up to the P, and that's your token.
So the way I would do this would be to use span for string and introduce a for loop instead of a for each. That way you can move your index around as you need to. So you get to the first character, it's an I. You can start peeking ahead of yourself because it's you can look at the index of the string. And once you get to the end of it, you can update your index to that value and just plop that whole thing in. And then the next iteration of that will continue off where you left off.
That's literally what I'm talking about. So instead of treating our tokens as strings like we currently do and matching them to a string like we currently do, I'm saying, hey, everything's character arrays. And I'm matching a portion of the main character array to my subset arrays that I've got that represent my tokens. And I'm saying where these things match by rule, that's what I care about. Does that make sense? Because using strings is going to be expensive because of the allocation stack that you're going to have. Because you're going to be constantly allocating new strings where you're going to be taking, say, from your main string, you're going to be doing substring some portion of it. And then you're going to be allocating that to a new variable. And then you're going to be doing your match. And then you're going to throw that away, rinse, repeat. And if you've got a particularly long query, you're going to allocate 100 strings. You're going to come out the other end with your token array. But that's already been a really expensive operation. Which you don't want, because the overhead for that is that if people use this in anger, they're going to end up with GC problems.
Okay, so here's the deal. Just something for you all. Let's hold off on let's give Joe and everybody and I just a little bit of time to kind of think about an algorithm, right? Something that we can try and play with. And let's have our next session, to come up with some solutions and some ideas and discuss this a little bit more in depth. What do you guys think about that?
I was going to suggest that we use your usual trick and we sit down and we model it together.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's do that.
In your diagramming tools or something where we, in theory, plot out what we want to achieve. Because then when you've got that, you'll then have your series of pictograms that chained together actually represent the logic that we want to build. Does that make sense?
I'm okay with that. Let's do that our next session. Let's discuss algorithms for our Lexer to see how this is going to work. It needs to be simple. It needs to be something easy for people to understand so they can maintain, but it also needs to be fast. I don't think it being fast matters because the biggest query in the world is not going to be more than 100 characters. So it really doesn't matter, but it's also nice.
You're outright wrong on that.
Why? Tell me.
I have OData queries in my existing applications that I have in production that are hundreds of characters long, like many hundreds of characters.
There got to be a max length, right?
I mean, the URL has a length.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
URLs used to have because of browser limitations, a maximum character length of about 256 characters, but they started finding that due to the length of domain names getting longer, because the shorter names were being more and more taken up, that
So
they extended the length. Now browsers will basically say, and the global standard says, a URL can be pretty much anything that both the server and the client is willing to accept. So you
okay.
could put
So,
a meg's worth of string into a URL.
okay, so I see here 2048 characters.
Yeah,
Still,
that's a reasonable accepted limit.
still not something to think about,
Mm.
but
But
let's have this discussion.
do remember, part of
Uh,
this project is to
uh,
take this away from the browser. We could just have a console app
and
that's
that's
building a
okay.
query
No, I
for a
understand.
service.
I understand. We also want to allow people to be able to optimize to fit their business need. But anyway, thank you all for joining in today. Sam, how's your internet going?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay, perfect. All right,
Did you
guys.
move out of Dubai again? You move around a lot, Sam. Busy man. Must be that Microsoft money.
All right, guys. I gotta jump off. I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Sanders.
Thank you all. Take care. Bye. Bye.